Are you ready to learn what red flags keep an eye out for when looking for love?
Then we got you covered. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the podcast where we unpack reality TV and call out the bullshit.
So that you show up confidently while dating and in relationships.
Welcome to Ditch the Script. I love it. Hi.
Hello. This is so exciting.
We're here.
We're so here. All right.
This is how many years in the making? Maybe not the actual physical thought of this podcast.
18 years, though.
18 years.
I met you 18 summers ago.
That's so crazy.
Wait, let me just quadruple check my math on that.
Okay, while you do that, I was just talking to my parents about how long we actually spent together in the years that we lived together in the summers.
Yeah.
Year after year after year. So Alex and I know each other from a summer dance intensive from the year
2003.
2003.
It's 18 years, people. I quadruple
Lindsay
check.
Lohan.
She ain't got nothing on us.
Years.
B, bag up.
I was gonna say. But first of all, true. That's a fact. Lindsay Lohan has nothing on us. But second, Lindsay Lohan, I was gonna say, was like the biggest star in the world.
Oh, 100%. We had like Herbie, Freaky Friday. What else was she in? A lot of things.
I don't know, but she was seeming like the person that I wanted to be when I grew up, and then I figured out that was
not correct.
Not correct. I was telling my mom that this was the time we met each other when I was still considering if I was going to shave my legs.
Oh my God, do you remember telling my mom that I should use KY jelly to shave my legs in the car?
I told your mom
You
that?
did. And we were like 13 or 14. And you were like, Wendy, just in case you find KY jelly in Alex's bathroom, she just is using it to shave her legs. She's not having sex. And I remember, honestly, Brie, I remember dying laughing and being so, like, I was admiring you so hard because we'll definitely get into this in this podcast, but I came from a very strict religious background, so sex was never talked about. Nonetheless, lube.
Lube was not a factor, and I came in here with my liberal freedom trail, absolute.
Yep.
And a lie. But that's a lie that I told you. I don't know who I thought I was.
I feel like.
But you know what? This is why we're making this podcast.
Oh, we have.
So that you can stop taking advice from your friends. Because here's the moral of the story. Your friends are wrong. Don't use KY jelly as shave gel. I don't know who told me that. I don't know why I would tell you that. That was so irresponsible, and I'm so sorry.
I thought it was great.
Apology
no, I don't
later.
want you to apologize. Like I said, it was like you were like a superhero to me because I just never talked that way to my parents ever. But two, like I said, that was like a taboo topic. So having that, like having a friend come in and so nonchalantly be like, BT dubs, KY jelly really slicks them up, you know? And I don't know if that's a lie. Now I should try it. I'm going to go get some KY jelly and shave my legs and report back. I really am.
You know what?
It's time.
In the name of research. Yeah. In the name of research. Let's do it.
Yeah, we got to
both do
put our Mythbusters cap on.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that.
I don't know though.
Well, then we were pregnant with this idea many, many, many years later. And it was the best idea that we ever had since KY jelly as shave gel.
I agree.
And I'm so grateful for it.
Oh my God.
I'm so grateful.
Me too. Yeah. It was very serendipitous how we met, but like, you know, I think both of us have been talking about this a lot as we've been getting ready to do this. It's just so mind-blowing to me that such a simple encounter at such a young age blossomed into a lifelong friendship. Because we were in jazz class in that intensive, and the assignment was like improv a walk across the floor with your partner. And I came up to you and was like, do you want to do the crip walk? And you were like, okay. And
we both in that moment
it was
knew
just like
what to do.
Oh yeah, literally.
Which is funny because we grew up on different parts of the country.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the craziest part about our friendship is we've been friends for 18 years and counting, and not once have ever lived in the same state.
Never.
That's a mind-blowing.
Now, I've moved to the state where you were...
Left.
You lived in. Yeah, you lived in during this time. And we still keep fucking missing each other.
That's okay. But your brother lives by me, so, like, in the end, it's all Gucci. We're going to see each other.
Yeah, we've really made it work. I think that something else that I was sharing when I was, I've been talking about this a lot because I'm so excited, but I told my parents that, like, because they're my roommates now, you and I became friends during that time because we were, like, the friends that each other needed.
That's deep.
In, like, a big way.
Yeah. You were everything I wasn't.
And you were my only friend at that time. And you also were like, you were such a good match for me, like, energy wise, because we were so silly.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't take life seriously. We were also 12 and 13. But I didn't appreciate the, like, silliness and, like, joy that you needed at that time.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I needed a partner because I wasn't from there. I was, like, a total loner outcast. And you also were an incredible dancer. You are an incredible dancer, but no, your skills were, like, on point.
Well, thanks, girl.
For not a good pun. But you helped me a lot because you have this fantastic memory. Something that you will come to learn about Alex is that she has a really specific memory. We'll call it specific because you say that it's not always great. It's not great in the areas where you want it to be.
I think
great.
that's a good way to put it, though.
Mm-hmm. It's a really specific memory in which we used to describe it as a photographic memory because you could see something once, specifically in this example, like a dance routine, like a sequence, and you would see it once and then you remembered it. Mm-hmm. So while I was getting frustrated, and like a bad habit that I had always had was I would get really frustrated and want to give up, which, wow, many years later, I've not really figured out. And you were like, no, we're doing it. We're going to keep practicing and we're going to keep doing it. And we're going to practice at home. And we could do that because I was living in your house. Yeah. And that was really important to me. Like, not many people wrote out my little mini tantrums. And you were like, we got this, girl.
That's so fascinating to hear that from your point of view. Because, like, I never thought of it like that, and nor I never even perceived it in that way, that you were having like not a temper tantrum in that way, but like that you were having this resistance. Like I never witnessed it like that. It was just like I just wanted to help you learn your stuff. Yeah. And
you had the skills to help. That's sort of the thing. Like, we both had the right skills at the right time for each other.
So true.
To, like, get us through sticky moments.
I never thought of that.
And I know, it's interesting. I didn't know that you didn't recognize that. I mean, I was definitely having a hard time. But
you killed it
through
in the end.
And then, girl, we both did. We both did.
Cheers.
But then, true to the reality of, like, adult friendships, like, you and I spent also a lot of time
apart,
not super connected, but still having lots of love for each other. Like, that was never even a question.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then I also feel in this time of reflecting that, like, we have grown in separately, but in really similar ways.
Yeah. No, I know I've said this to you. This is going to be the third time I've said it to you, but if there is such a thing as destiny, this is it, 100%. Because, like, we literally had so much time apart. I mean, it felt like so much time. It would be interesting to know exactly how many years it was. But where, again, like, communication was, like, really thin or, like, practically non-existent. But again, like you said, heart so full of love. And now, because of COVID and us having the opportunity and time on our hands to really reconnect with those of us who, like, stayed the course, and kept in contact, it just, like, snowballed from there. And now here we are a year later, like, this is just all coming together with what we do for work, you know, but as a passion project on the side, which I think is so dope.
Yeah.
It's so dope.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool.
We birthed a child.
Cool. We birthed a child. This is her.
Yes. This is it.
This is her.
I love it.
I'm imagining us as a partnership mothering the same child, and that kid is well adjusted.
And
let me tell you that.
So loved.
Securely attached. I can guarantee it.
Securely attached and well regulated, bitches.
Yeah. And she has a dad.
Yeah.
She has a dad.
Oh, she does? Me?
Well,
do I wear
Jordan.
the pants? Jordan, got it. So it's a little Polly.
Yeah, listen, this is more of a compound type of. It's a village.
Yes, that's what they
childhood.
say. They say it takes a village. So he's our number one groupie. You know, Jordan has signed up to be the number one cheerleader, and he's very welcomed.
Yes, he is so welcomed. He's part of the birthing of this child.
100%.
Jordan is Alex's partner.
Oh yeah,
and. We should probably let people know who he is and forget that we're not just on FaceTime.
Jordan's my boyfriend. I live with him. He's watching Monday Night Football. And
we're not.
And we're not. We're in here. We're in here and we're chit-chatting.
We're chit-chatting.
About things.
I want to get a little bit into what we both do.
Okay, cool.
So that people understand that we're credible and not just silly, because we're also silly.
Totally.
But we're also credible.
Yeah.
And don't forget it.
Yes. So for me, I'm a certified and ICF accredited relationship coach. So I really focus on helping women to heal their past pain using trauma-informed techniques so that they can actually attract and get into a healthy, stable, soulmate-like relationship. And quite honestly, I got into what I'm doing today because of my own shitty mistakes. I made a lot of them, and I learned the hard way, and I know what it is to be broken and so crave healthy love and just not know why it's not coming. And I know what it is to be feel whole and maintain your sense of self and actually have a partner who treats you the way that you've always wanted to be treated. And so I just really... This came around serendipitously in its own way that I just wanted to help other women get the same results that I did, because it is possible, and it sucks feeling alone, and it sucks feeling like something's wrong with you, and why can't I just be loved and love someone in return? And I don't want that for people, you know, and I don't want that for future generations of children either. You know, the healthier our relationships can be, the greater the impact is generationally. So let's do it. What about you, Bree?
Beautifully said.
What do you do?
Oh, man, do I have the words? First of all, I need to say that was beautiful. Oh, so succinct.
Thanks.
Really clear, very clear. I loved it. What do? I spent a lot of money for a degree.
Congrats.
I spent a lot of money. Thank you so much. I spent a lot of money for a degree that I'm simply riding off instinct, vibes, and waves, baby.
Hey!
I am a licensed independent clinical social worker, licensed in Massachusetts specifically, and I own my own private practice where I see individuals and now couples.
Oh!
Yikes. For psychotherapy, and I love it. It's the best job I've ever had. It's the thing that it's probably the only thing that's made me feel like I come away from the work that I do and I feel both challenged and humbled. And a third I will put in there is super proud.
Yeah.
I'm committed to continuing to get better and to work harder and to remain curious. And that makes me feel really good about the choice that I've made about what I'm doing for work. And I can't believe that.
Yeah. I love that. So, it's so dope. Mm-hmm. And she was my therapist, guys. We like to joke that I was her first client when I was 12. So, you know. Yeah.
And again, vibes, waves, and instinct, just having a good time. But you know what? Probably was giving more advice considering that KY jelly incident.
And you were there for my first kiss. You coached me into my first kiss. Literally.
I wish. So who really is the relationship coach?
Yeah, so true.
It's both of us. And we birthed this podcast because we were actually sending voice notes to each other back and forth after like it was like the second to last episode of The Bachelorette. Yeah. Katie season,
Thurston. And we're going to put her on blast.
And we found, Katie friggin' Thirsty Thurston. And that's rude. I don't, she doesn't deserve that disrespect. But we were noticing some, just specific behaviors that we felt were we thought were kind of not problematic. Problematic is the wrong word to use, but we thought were just unseen by the general public.
Yeah, and unaddressed. And I think that, Greg, God bless him, the reality is these two people are imperfect people trying to establish a relationship, right? And this is what happens all the time within any kind of relationship, is exactly that. Your wounds, if left unresolved, will wreak havoc on whatever you're trying to establish. So being unaware and not understanding when, the signs of someone shutting down, and starting to stonewall, or the signs of someone being dysregulated, which is just a fancy way of saying emotional, right? We all get emotional. And so Brie and I were kind of going after Bachelor Nation in the sense that we were sad that both sides weren't being addressed. Everyone was attacking one person, and the reality is it takes two to tango. So let's come to the table and actually have a healthy conversation about where they both went wrong, where they could have done better, so that moving forward, they could have potentially had a successful relationship. And so, Katie's with Blake, wish him well. But yeah, that's how this started.
And it was so natural, and it was really fun for us. And I felt like we weren't the only two people that saw what we were seeing, but we were able to assign some language to it based on our shared experience and what we do for a living. And that felt really valuable at the time. And sort of we're shouting into a go Greg vacuum.
Yeah.
And Bachelor Nation,
we love you.
We're not coming for you.
Yeah, no.
We love you.
Yeah.
We
are you. We are you.
We are you.
We just want.
And I'm new here.
We're bringing Brie into the fray, or the fold, or whatever the culty language is for it. But I've been a part of Bachelor Nation since Sean Lowe's season. I've watched religiously since then, with the exception of Colton's season. I watched on and off. I really focused on watching the last few weeks just because of all the crazy with Cassie. But my point in saying all of this is that we aren't here to call out Bachelor Nation. We're here to lift Bachelor Nation up so that everyone can actually get into the type of relationship they crave with confidence, being empowered, and knowing exactly what to look for and how to navigate it. Because let's be real, they don't teach this shit in high school or in college. And so it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. And then we wonder why we're still talking to the crazy toxic ex that we've broken up with, quote unquote, years later. No one wants that.
No. And we're drawn to this type of television because it's so entertaining, but because we also see ourselves in it.
Yes.
And we see the types of behaviors that we want to exhibit. We want to seem cool and unbothered and in love and pine for, but we also see the specific behaviors that we recognize in ourselves that we're not proud of, our anger, our reactions, our
insecurities.
Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. And we can really miscommunicate really frequently because we're actually not listening to each other.
Oh my God, yes.
So we figured that why not take something that we love and that we feel has helped us grow as adults, which is this influence of TV and movies and reality television and the media that we love to cling to and that we for some reason can't freaking stop watching, and use it to help us continue to grow outside of these shows so that we can get the love story that we want or identify what's holding us back from getting it.
Yeah.
So
this is why we're
here to do.
Yeah. The subtitle of our show is How to Hit Your Mark in dating and relationships. And Hit Your Mark is a performance situation because obviously Brie and I come from a dancing background. So we wanted to have a little bit of our soul mixed with the reality TV, and that's why we came to Ditch the Script is the name. You know, there's so many myths and rumors going around about this is how you text a guy, this is what you need to do, play this game to get him, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's just not true. You know, healthy love doesn't show up with all of these rules and regulations. Quite honestly, it shows up when you least expect it. And so if we're here to help you, drop the script, ditch the script, people.
Ditch it, leave it behind, throw it in the trash, light that trash on fire.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Ceremonial burning.
Dumpster fires. That's right. We are witches. That was pretty good. I think we did a pretty good job setting that up.
We did.
Good for us.
We're not done. Let's keep going and talk about how to message us.
Virtual high five. How do we message us?
Okay, cool. So if you go to our website, ditchthescriptpod.com, there is a contact box at the bottom of the page. So go ahead and enter your question when it comes to dating and relationships, and we will answer it anonymously here on the podcast.
I love it. Even if you just want to say, hi, I tried KY jelly.
And shave my legs.
It did not work. Shave my leg. It did not work, and I did not like it, and you should really stop talking about it with a microphone. That's okay, too. We will accept that kind of feedback. Yes. Whatever helps us grow as people and 100. As a group.
Yeah, like, I need to stop saying like and 100%. I claim it now.
Listen, if Love Island UK is not going to stop saying 100%, we don't have to either.
Okay.
We don't.
Heard. We'll take it.
Mate?
Yes. The other thing that we're going to be doing on this show is answering weekly Reddit reads. So we are users of Reddit, and we are going to be trolling the subreddits, looking for good, interesting questions when it comes to love lives in general. And so, yeah, that's really where we're at, is we want to give real people real answers to their very real problems so that they can have a real solution and move on with their lives. So lots of fun things.
And I've read some of these Reddit answers, and they are misleading.
So misleading.
It's not a good situation. People are really leading with intent, and I appreciate them for that. People are good, and they're trying to support you, but they're sort of like your friend that can only see you doing the best things possible and isn't prepared to tell you the more difficult news about your choices. And that's what we're also here to do. Yeah. We want to be able to give some like sound feedback and this comes from a place of wanting to hold ourselves accountable.
Yes.
Because if there's anything that I've learned from Alex and the work that she does and the journey that I'm on in my own life, it's that you have to look inside. You have to do the personal work. You have to look within. And if you're not prepared to confront your own habits, your own patterns, good and bad, you're going to have a hard time figuring out what it is you're looking for and how to get there.
100%. Oh shit, I did it again. Yeah, we're not fans of confirmation bias here, and I think what we really need to understand and embrace collectively is that growth comes with uncomfortability. So it's like we've all heard it. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, it's very true. And so what that means is you need to make a different choice this time. You need to take different action this time. And that's really what we're going to boil this podcast down to, is really focusing on, this is what happened. Let's analyze it, break it down, shed light on the good and the bad in this interaction, and give our tidbits, our 2 cents on how this could have gone better. Or, if it's a grade A trophy moment of a moment on Bachelor or Love Island or whatever we're analyzing, we'll award it so. A round of applause.
Absolutely. We're here to support each other, and that's shedding light on the things that we're doing well. And you have to reward that behavior if you want to continue to see it. foreshadowing how to talk to your partner about the things that you like and how to influence positive change. And you have to repeat it. You have to call it out, because if we don't call it out, all we see is the negative.
Yes.
But, however, we also need to address the things that are making getting there really hard.
Yep.
In ourselves, in our partners, in our friends. This is not really just stuck to the relationships that we have in our romantic lives. The types of communication that we struggle with in that context is shared in some of the other relationships that you have outside of your romantic life, with your friends, with your family, whoever it is that you choose to keep in your circle for whatever reasons you choose them to be there. These challenges that you face are likely to show up in a lot of these areas, and it's going to benefit you and me to address that in all of these places, wherever it shows up.
Yeah.
For more fulfilling relationships.
Hell yes. Let's do the damn thing. All right.
Okay, let's do it.
Reddit cues.
Reddit cues. Okay. So I'm going to start with this one.
Do it.
She writes, trying to put on a happy face for my sister's wedding, but I don't know if I can. My sister, she's 28, female, is getting married in a little over a week. She's been with her fiance since she was 22. My stepsister, who's 30, has also been in a serious relationship for close to 10 years. I'm about to be 25, and I've never had a serious long-term relationship. I really want to be happy for her, but the whole situation is bringing up my deepest fear. What if no one ever falls in love with me or wants to marry me? I've been happy for my friends that have gotten married. I've been happy being the only single one in my friend group. But now that my sister's getting married, I just don't know. I feel deflated. I really want to make this experience nice for her, but I'm worried I'm going to break down and cry, especially once alcohol is involved. I'm going to be there for a week helping prepare, and I don't know if I'll be able to stay strong through the whole time. I'm absolutely dreading being asked 100 questions about when I'm going to be getting married and why I'm still single, as the only female left in my family who will still bear our family name. Girl, that's a lot of pressure. Any advice would be much appreciated.
Wow.
So, any gut reactions?
I feel for this girl. That's so it's hard. Let's just start there. I love her self-awareness too. And I love that if she was a client of mine, I would applaud the fact that she's thinking ahead like that, because I think too often a lot of the times if we have this go with the flow thing, like attitude with life, which is a beautiful thing in many regards, but sometimes it can bite you in the ass in the sense that if she wasn't thinking this way and she wasn't conscious of all of these inner feelings and inner thoughts she was having, she would show up on that day and be a hot mess potentially, because she wasn't able to prepare for it. She wasn't able to choose what kind of response or have any kind of game plan for how that day could go down, what her options were, So my again 2 cents for this woman is obviously we want to work on self-love and we want to work on being okay with where we are right now, right? Because the reality is people ask those questions and without any kind of conscious it's just a question you ask. You're supposed to ask those at weddings, right?
It's low-hanging fruit.
It is. So do they really care about your answer?
They don't.
Yeah. So it's one, take the pressure off of yourself. But 2, what I would do is to share these feelings, I feel like I'm a big proponent of being open and honest and vulnerable with expressing whether that's with a friend and depending on how close you are with your sister, but and not in a way of I'm trying to put a smile on or keep a smile on, but more from a place of I'm a little nervous because I don't know what to say and I want to be there for you. And I really feel that coming to each other with these vulnerable and very honest emotions and thoughts takes their power away. I
hear what you're saying. I want to give her the same credit that you've just given her graciously, which is that she's self-aware. She's thinking about her sister first, which is
super sweet.
Very, very sweet, very generous. I second her being honest about her feelings, but I'm going to make an edit. I don't necessarily think that she should bring it to her sister, particularly on this weekend.
Oh yeah, no.
The reason why I say that is it's the people who are the stars of the wedding experience, the wedding show, are nutcases. And I say that, one, because she's probably not going to be emotionally available or physically available to handle any of that. But her response is probably not going to be supportive or respectful. It's likely going to come out in the way of, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, so, but to be honest about how you're feeling and bringing it to someone who's like a low stakes player in this experience, someone that you feel safe with, to be able to get it out, as you mentioned, for all of those reasons, I think would be really helpful.
Yeah.
When it comes to people asking you why you're single, like you said, it's low-hanging fruit.
Sorry to interrupt. Just want to hit home.
It's okay.
Do not do it the day of the wedding. I agree. I was not clear on that. Do it weeks before. Weeks before.
Yeah. Before, check in with her. Make sure that she's ready.
Yeah.
Make sure that she has space for it. Actually, you know what? Here's a good lesson on consent.
Yes.
Ask for consent to be able to share something that's about the wedding, but not necessarily about her. It's going to be something about me. Is it okay if I share a feeling that I have? That really goes a long way. And actually getting that permission it sets that conversation up for better support that you're really looking for.
I agree. This was good. The other thing I would say is, like, come up with an answer that you like, it's kind of rehearsed and it doesn't leave room for questioning, so that you kind of shut the conversation down before it begins. So like, oh, like, why aren't you dating anyone yet? I haven't met the right person. When are you going to get married? When I meet the right person. You know what I mean? And like, really, it's not a flaw of you. It truly does come down to that, you know, and timing is everything. So I think coming up, like, playing out all the different potential questions that you think could be asked of you and figuring out a very quick, concise response that kind of ends the conversation before it comes off the ground would be smart.
Valuable.
And help you
handy.
escape just a bit sooner. But we feel you, girl. Sending you love and light.
Lots of love.
Okay, one of mine?
Yeah, let's go to one of yours.
Okay, I am really excited about this one. Do people...
Ooh, you did screenshots.
I did, sorry. Do people ghost less as they get older, or does it have nothing to do with age? I think this is a great question, and I'm kind of dying inside just a smidge, because the answer is it doesn't just get better with age. And I have profound awareness with this only because my pseudo-parents... One of them just turned 70 last week. Happy birthday, pseudo dad.
Happy birthday, happy anniversary.
Yes, and it is, yes. And they have a friend who is also 70, fourth divorce, and literally doing this off of J-Date.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's like, does it get better with age? My short answer is no.
No. What's your long answer?
My long answer is it can be if people are willing to grow and be emotionally mature. Yeah. And ghosting can happen for two reasons. One, like he said, like you're just not into the person, so you give up. Or the other reason is you don't want to hurt the person, so you just ignore them, which let's all agree, like that's way fucking worse than, clearly we can curse on this show because we're making the rules.
It's ours.
Yeah.
It's ours.
That's way worse than just being like, my one-liner text to every guy that I met off of Bumble that I wasn't into was, thanks so much for your time. It was great meeting you. I don't feel the way I need to feel to keep seeing you. Boom. Done. Nothing to argue there. Like, I am appreciative of their time. I am appreciative of them getting to know me and obviously me getting to know them. But the reality is after a certain point, you know whether this is something you want to invest your time, energy, and emotions in or not, you know? So
that's so valuable. I thank you for giving us the world's Bachelor Nation, that nugget of like truth to be able to use in a situation where you're not interested anymore and you don't know how to say it. And so the easiest route feels like blocking their number or just ignoring the amount of times that they text you or being okay with the fact that neither of you text each other. Listen, it definitely doesn't get better with age. It has everything to do with emotional maturity and like your preferences for communication. People who ghost it's not that they necessarily are comfortable tolerating that from other people themselves. It's because they're not thinking about it. They are, just as you mentioned, they think that they're doing this to preserve you when really they're just doing it to preserve them. Mm-hmm. But what you miss out on when you ghost someone is an opportunity to effectively communicate that this situation, this person is not for you in a respectful, neutral kind of way, and really like setting a boundary and like letting things lie. You can avoid a hell of a lot more drama by just being upfront and honest about that. You don't need to phone them. You don't need to go to their door. We have so many outs now that we connect
so true
virtually so much more. So like, I don't want to hear the excuses. And this is from a recovering ghoster myself, because that confrontation scared me. It scared me. It was shitty because it doesn't feel good to make people upset, especially when, again, you're a recovering people pleaser. But it's so much better to just like call it. I use Love Island for inspiration in these moments, and I wish that I was kidding, but I'm not, because they're stuck on an island together, literally, well, a villa, and they're stuck there and they can't get away from each other. So they have to go up to each other and say, hey, I got to pull you for a chat.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be doing in our text messages. We need to pull each other for the chat.
Yes, I agree. Plus karma, what you put out there comes back to you. So yeah,
very much.
Ghosting is not the way. Aziz Ansari did a comedy skit, and if anyone hasn't read his book, A Modern Romance, do, because it's freaking hilarious. But it has real like statistics on dating and how people met and everything like that. But he talks about it in an old comedy skit of his, is like, how many of us like being lied to? Like, raise your hand if you like being lied to. And it's like, no one raises their hand, obviously. And then everyone's like, but raise your hand if you've been ghosted. And of course, every hand in the building goes up. Everyone. And it's just like, that's a form of lying. You know, like we forget that withholding is just as detrimental as, you know, omission is just as detrimental as actual fabrication. So, you know, just rip the Band-Aid off. I love what you said. It gives you an opportunity to practice building the muscle of uncomfortable conversations. And also, like, it just feels better. Like, it just feels better because it
feels so much better.
There's no angst, like, wondering, like, how many days, you know, are they going to reach out in a couple days if I ignore them? Like, hopefully, you know, it's like, no, just tell them where it is. There's no confusion, you know, and move on with your life.
Yeah. Can we do a quick flip on that?
Yeah.
If you are the person who's been ghosted and that's become abundantly clear to you, let it go.
Yeah.
You need to let it go. Do not, this is my personal belief, so let me know if you feel differently. Don't reach out to them to ask for the confirmation of why this ended when it's clearly been some time since they haven't gone back out to you. I've made this mistake because I was like a glutton for punishment. It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to illuminate things. It's not going to help you reconnect. Just say your piece, recognize that this is someone who's not yet ready to handle the amount of communication that it would require to have a successful relationship together. Mm-hmm. And roll out.
Yeah, you don't want
Ludacris
that.
Said.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You don't want that anyway. If someone can't be emotionally mature with you, then what? It's going to be real challenging long term. Yeah, I love that. I have a girlfriend who says whenever this has happened to her, she like makes up some crazy story to believe instead of being like, oh, I got ghosted. It was like, oh, they had violent food poisoning and just never got back to me and it fizzled out. She makes up some crazy ass story, but like that's the way she comforts herself. So like if that works for you, freaking go for it.
There's this, she's sort of like an anti-social media influencer, but in doing so, she's very much a social media influencer. Her name is Tinks. She's on TikTok, she's on Instagram.
Love it.
Everywhere. But she has this theory to like hold a funeral when this happens. And she means like sort of a literal mental funeral in your head. Like spend a day, give yourself whatever amount of time you need in a day. Mm-hmm. It could be 2 hours. It could be the whole 24 hours, but never longer than a day. And do whatever it feels like you need to do. You need to go somewhere and cry it out, go cry it out. You need to go like eat.
Dress in black.
Your weight, dress in black. You want to go eat your weight in froyo, go eat your weight in froyo. Do whatever it is that you got to do, and then you don't get to think about them afterwards. Now, that's not exactly giving a lot of permission to the fact that we're human beings and we don't turn off that way. But I can get behind the ritual of like letting yourself fully indulge in whatever the feelings are and really leaning into that and honoring, instead of being like, whatever, that person didn't mean anything to me anyway. Yeah. I didn't even care that much. Like, girl, you're lying.
Yeah.
Because you're mad. And it's okay that you're mad. Go let yourself be mad.
Yes.
And then walk it off.
Yes. Go beat a pillow.
Beat a pillow, scream.
Yes, say all the F
words. Scream in your
words.
car.
Oh.
Say the F words. Scream in your car. If you have a car, I really encourage you to scream in it. Scream in it.
I've never done it.
Like primal screaming. Great way to complete the stress response cycle.
It's really funny because I give that to clients a lot. I usually say like scream in a pillow is what I usually say, because that's the only thing that I've done, but I've never thought of that, and I really want to do it because a muffled scream is so different from like an actual, like it's coming out of my mouth, not stopping here. Sorry, not stopping here. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that. I don't know why I've never thought of that before. I've wanted to go to like Antelope Canyon and like scream in the wilderness. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever screamed with other people. It's just in my car.
Maybe you and I should scream if we end up going on a hike when I see you when you're out here or something.
That would be great.
Let's do it.
Scream on a hike.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get into another one.
Okay.
I really want your thoughts on this one. Okay. Boyfriend of 6 years hasn't proposed. How do I get over this resentment?
This one's hard. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because I would love, like, if I were her, by now I would have, 3 years in, I think I would have been like, okay, well, I'm lying because Jordan and I are about to celebrate 3 years and I'm not ready yet. But we openly discuss this regularly, like what we would need to feel ready, what we want to accomplish before then. And so my point in bringing this up is that's the conversation I would have had with him a long time ago, is like, what are you waiting for to see or to feel within this relationship? What can I do to make you feel more confident in us? Is there anything going on? Is this a you thing? You know, I would have really wanted to dig that up. So my counsel to her would be to try and have that conversation, you know? And the other thing is to look at the evidence of his character, would be the other thing I would recommend her doing. And what I mean by that is, like, has he made empty promises in the past before that he's promised and promised and promised and never has ever made good on? Because if that's a pattern that you see outside of just this proposal situation, then to me, that looks like a commitment issue of some sort. And so I would want to go to therapy with him to figure out, like, what is that? Like, where is this fear of commitment coming from? You know, that's all I got. Honestly, it is a hard one to navigate, especially
it's
only,
hard. And I think
having her side of the story.
I think people are in it.
Yeah,
of course. It's like she's giving us tidbits about how he feels, but it's through her own lens.
Right.
This is a really hard position to be in, and it's one that I think a lot of people find themselves in. I think that she's coming across quite like particular about her timeline, I think that she's actually just being honest, and probably a bit more honest than how other people, I won't generalize just to women, but how other people feel when they feel ready and their partner is giving them signs that they're not ready. What I think that this person would need to do is like get rid of the fixed timeline, because I really think that that's more of a detriment than it is like, it's not helping as much as you think that it's helping you get to your goal. Sort of like you said, like you originally were like 3 years. By 3 years, maybe you don't, but you corrected yourself. You're like, I'm at 3 years and that's not what I'm looking for right now. But I know that I have the relationship that's like
heading in that direction.
Yeah. So it's like that we have to stop thinking about timelines and birthdays and acknowledging that we are attached to getting to this level this level, I'm putting level in quotes, level in life that we associate is as like an accomplishment, especially for young women, to say that if I'm not married by 30, there must be something wrong with me, or this relationship is wrong. You have to sort of acknowledge that that is an idea that's sold to us quite frequently, because of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that your insight into him telling you that he's ready and then not following through with what he's saying with his actions is definitely a red flag, and not one to just cut him off at. Like I'm hearing you edge towards I'm hearing this person edge towards an ultimatum, which I don't think is ever appropriate. But something that would be useful, as Alex mentioned, is to like get a neutral third party eye on the situation, and specifically the communication. Maybe you're being super clear
to you
in this to you and in this like Reddit forum, but you're not in with him, and maybe you're not exploring, like being curious about like what his hangups are, and really like pointing out, like you said that you'd be ready by this time, and here we are, and I'm just wondering what that's about. When we bring this stuff up, if we are very emotionally attached to the issue, it is likely that you are going to, correct me if I'm wrong on this, it's likely that you're going to come to this conversation guns a-blazing. And that is the least effective way to actually hear your partner and get a good idea of what some of the issue is, so that you can both hear each other and come to some sort of resolution, even if that resolution is feeling and learning that you're not on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other thing that goes with that is that, especially women, as they approach their 30s, like they feel like their biological clock is ticking, and like, okay, let's be realistic here. Sure. On the one hand, it could be, I don't know, my mom had me at 39 in the 90s. So I feel like now that it's 2021, my point of bringing that up is I think a lot of women are very like, we need to get married and then we need to have kids. And if that's true for you, fine. You need to find a guy who agrees with that. That's the thing, is you cannot try and force your story and plot line into someone else's life. And so if you're going to hang on to that story and plot line so strongly, then you need to find someone else who's willing to get on that plot line with you. You know what I mean? Because the reality is if this guy is like, marriage is a government institution, what's the point of it? You know what I mean? Like, what's really going to change about our relationship? We've been together for 6 years and everything is great. We love each other. Why are you in such a rush to put a ring on it? Like, those are valid feelings too that need to be heard and understood. And so that's just a conflict of values at that point. And you guys need to compromise. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good, solid advice. Listen, this is free relationship coaching that you're getting.
And
Take
therapy.
It in, write it down. Yeah, write it down. Take that with you. Put it in your pocket.
Fetch.
Yeah. That's why we're doing this. Thanks so much for listening to Ditch the Script podcast.
And then the upcoming season of The Bachelorette with Michelle Young, Brie and I will be weekly unpacking each episode and analyzing all of her interactions with her men to let you know what red flags we're spotting and how things could have been navigated in a more healthy fashion. It's going to be lit.
I'm so ready for that. It's going to be so much fun.
It is. It's going to be a blasty blast. So come hang out with us every week as we give you a week-by-week synopsis and analysis of what we're seeing and observing to help Michelle find her match.
And you know how to reach us. Go to our website, ditchthescriptpod.com, so that you can, if you want to have questions answered or shout-outs mentioned, we're really only going to answer the questions. Yeah.
If it's a good shout-out, we'll do it.
Yeah. Tell us we're pretty, okay? Thank you so much. We love you.
You're rad. Bye.
Bye.